So here's the dream they sell you. You invest early, you stay consistent, and you let compounding do its magic. And fast forward for 30 years, you are sitting on a beach with a $2 million portfolio. And to be fair, the math actually checks out. You invest $1,000 a month, assume a 10% annual return, and you reinvest everything. And the compound interest calculator kicks back the magic number, 2.0 million. Sounds easy, right? But here's the part people rarely talk about. The smooth curve that you see in the charts of the consistent growth and uptrend, that's in theory only. In reality, the road to $2 million is a mountainous terrain. The truth is this, there are some widely accepted beliefs in the finance world that sound smart in isolation and makes a convincing argument, but can quietly sabotage your plans if you're not paying attention. So, let's start with the one thing everyone loves to romanticize, the power of compounding. So it's that magical fairy tale that we are told since young that will turn peanuts into a multi-million dollar portfolio. So regardless of any finance books or YouTube videos that you come across, it will remind you that time is your best friend. And they're not wrong, at least in theory. See, the reason compounding is so powerful is simple. It doesn't just grow your money, it grows your growth. Like a snowball, it basically picks up more snow the longer it rolls downhill. And at some point in time, it just starts exploding in terms of growth. And that's the curve everyone dreams about. So mathematically speaking, when you look at the formula for compound interest, the time factor actually sits at a special spot. It's the exponent function. So you just need to take a glance at any exponential graph. The hockey stick kind of explosion that you see at the end, that's the dream that these calculators are selling to you. And it's our dream for you to actually kindly tap the like button. Don't worry, the button won't bite. But anyway, here's where it gets sneaky. So the moment someone tries to establish certain assumptions, such as plugging a 12% return into the compound interest calculator, it's kind of game over. You'll get back a number so big it almost feels like cheating, especially if you have a long time horizon of more than 30 to 40 years. Then some of you might ask, why 12%? Because that's how the S&P 500 has done recently. And some might even argue that it is already on the quote-unquote conservative end. And there is this concept called recency bias. So many investors tend to love taking the last decade, which is one of the strongest bull markets in history, and assume that it will be the same in the next coming decade. And if you enjoy this kind of breakdown, where we take a step back from the noise and really study the nuances that shape up the market, that's exactly what we try to do every week inside our free newsletter called Investing Bites. And every issue is designed to give you short, real-world examples that help you build a better investing framework. And if that sounds like something up your alley, hit the link in the description below and we'll send the latest issue straight to your inbox. Now, let's get back to the video. So don't get me wrong, I still believe fundamentally that the S&P 500 or a broad-based market index is a strong compounding machine. Because if you actually zoom out to a 100-year time horizon view, the S&P has indeed delivered between 8 to 10% annually. But we need to be mindful when we use such assumptions, and whether those assumptions actually help us reach our goals comfortably. And I think all these are fair questions to ask. Because here's what often gets swept under the rug. Even in that 100-year history, there have been entire decades where the S&P went absolutely nowhere. Just long, painful drawdowns, flat lines, and slow recovery. And that's what some investors call a lost decade. And if you were to look at the 10-year rolling returns across history, the range of outcomes of the S&P 500 actually starts to vary quite wildly depending on where you started. And that top line 10% per annum figure that you get is just an average number. And it actually hides a lot of the nuances and details. And it is not only about the returns, but also the order of those returns. And this is where most calculators completely fail you. They assume a smooth ride of 10% per year easily. But in reality, the market doesn't give you returns in a straight line. Some years, you might experience a good year of positive 15%, while in others, you might even have to take a negative 30% loss. And if those bad years actually happen in the later part of your investing journey, just before retirement especially, that's probably when your portfolio is the largest and you're investing the most. And the damage can be far worse than you expect, which might derail your retirement plans. And that's what we actually call sequence of return risk. In fact, this doesn't only affect retirees. If you're just getting started and your first 5 years, you experience a very negative investment experience, it goes flat, or worse still, goes negative, it messes with your head. You start questioning the system, you think the S&P 500 glory days are behind you, you slow your contributions down, maybe some of you might even pull out entirely, thinking that investing is a scam. The industry loves showing you a smooth upward sloping curve, but the reality is far from this. So yes, compounding works. In practice, it comes with a boatload of emotional tax, brutal timing risks, and unpredictable volatility that no spreadsheet can fully capture. Personally, I still believe in the long game and I still believe in staying invested. But I don't believe in fairy tale projections with zero psychological friction. Because real investing isn't just about math. It's about staying sane when the math actually goes sideways. And since we're on this topic of volatility, let's talk about one of the most overlooked concepts that people take at face value without putting in much thought to it: your risk appetite. So if you ever sat down with a financial advisor, you have probably seen it. That mini survey with questions like, how much of a loss can you tolerate before selling your investment? Or, how comfortable are you with risk? And they give you a range of scale from 1 to 5. And everybody plays cool, thinking that, yeah, I'm in this for the long term. I think investing doesn't faze me. Diamond hands, man. But let's be honest, everyone sounds like Warren Buffett when the market is up and when your portfolio is making new all-time highs. So your real risk tolerance doesn't show up when things are calm. It shows up when your portfolio on the aggregate is down 25%, with the headlines on CNBC screaming a recession, and you're lying in your bed at 2 a.m. trying to refresh your investing app again. So you are no longer thinking about long-term compounding anymore. You are wondering if you should go to cash and wait it out. And that's when you know the true limits of your risk-taking appetite. And the truth is, most people confuse confidence with actual resilience. And the industry, well, they don't really help out much. It gives you a quick quiz, calls you moderately aggressive, and sends you a few financial products to consider and calls it a day. Because at the end of the day, it's still a commission-driven work. But when the market drops 20%, 30%, or even 50%, and it will, based on past data, that moderately aggressive label suddenly becomes not so moderate after all. And to be fair, I get it. There's no perfect way to assess someone's true tolerance for risk without putting actual skin in the game. So until your decisions have real stakes, like your retirement funds or your house down payment, the quiz means nothing. So if you want to understand your real risk profile, look at your portfolio today. Imagine it dropping 30%. Then ask yourself honestly, what would I do? So not what you hope you would do, but what you would actually do. And that answer, it's your real risk tolerance. Everything else is just marketing. And at the end of the day, investing isn't just about growing your money. It's about surviving everything that tries to stop you from doing it. And this is CK from Piranha Profit signing off. Till next time, keep winning.